feel just so great.
Here's my honesty, my work undressed. Legs stretched across the piano, traded like cattle, raped like animals, left for dead, suck drive for inspiration, and love with the idea of living long enough to simply write about it, push it out my body and watch my son slowly grow into it. You said you want us home. Now what you gonna do?
Could even challenge or be in the argument with Empire, Executive Empire, and even
examining different artists, genres, musical styles, and traditions, delving into new concepts such as improvisation and the troubled tensions of sacred and secular music, highlighting historical performances and memorable moments along the way. Tracing African American music's continual evolution, born from the cultures and sounds rooted in Africa and African diaspora. Resonating throughout America, transforming and adapting over time, converging cultures, empowering individuals and communities to express the values and concerns of the people. Using the reach of media and technology to turn African American music into America's dominant cultural export. And measuring the enormous impact and influence of music across the globe. Examining everyday musicians, as well as music's key innovators, capturing the breadth of African American music making, analyzing advances of sound and technical styles, examining music's multiple genres, while stretching past narrow and fixed categories, identifying the activists in the music that influences spoke to the changing times. Discover, celebrate, experience, and understanding how music tells the stories, struggles, and triumphs of African Americans and of America itself.
It was a chance to serve and a steady job when black men had few options. Earning $13 a month, the same as their white counterparts. Although the pay didn't help, it was. African Americans served in segregated units led by white officers. They were deployed to the far reaches of the western frontier, where the sight of armed black men was not a faint civilian. Eventually, they became known as the Buffalo Soldiers. It was an isolated and often dangerous life. Many Native Americans fought bitterly against westward expansion. In more than 100 instances, Buffalo Soldiers were on the front lines of that conflict. Though their success came at the expense of native tribes protecting their homelands. Combat wasn't the only threat in such an unforgiving landscape. They faced disease, dehydration, and hostility from the very settlers they were sent to protect. But at the same time they were sacrificing to expand American interests in the West, their newly won rights as citizens were eroding at home. By 1900, West Point had graduated only 3 black men. By 1901, the African Americans in Congress had all been replaced by whites. Southern legislatures were passing Jim Crow laws to keep blacks separated from whites. In 1896, the Supreme Court upheld such laws as constitutional. Despite the restrictions, Buffalo Soldiers continued to serve with distinction. And at the dawn of the 20th century, they were sent far afield to the Spanish-American War in Cuba, to the Philippines, and to Mexico to defend America's expanding interests. But back home, they remained restricted within a military and a society designed to keep them segregated. All veterans and the Spanish-Americans still live in a segregated society.
From the beginning, African Americans marched under a flag that stood for principles not yet fully realized. They helped steer the country's course from ignorance to inclusion. They defended a nation they embraced with all its flaws. In pursuit of our highest ideals of freedom, equality, and opportunity for all. Once let the black man get upon his person the brass letters U.S. There is no power on earth which can deny that he has earned the right to citizenship in the United States. Frederick Douglass, 1863. From the nation's earliest days to the latest global challenges, their service spans centuries and continents. They symbolize the hope of millions by serving with honor. Sometimes rewarding, sometimes revived. While others fought to achieve a single victory, African Americans have always fought for a double victory. both for their nation at war and for equality at home. When World War II arrived on U.S. shores, many African Americans were living with hostility in the streets, discrimination in the workplace, and segregation in the military. In 1942, the Pittsburgh Courier's Double Victory campaign encouraged African Americans to demand equality in exchange for their service to the nation. But history had shown that promises made in the heat of battle were soon forgotten. In the 1700s, African Americans were among the first to shed blood for the country's freedom. But at war's end, many enslaved men were returned to bondage. During the Civil War, they fought for their own freedom, and then their families were terrorized at home. And in World War I, they laid their lives on the line for freedom abroad, and returned home to race riots in more than 30 cities. Despite the adversity, African Americans carried on, building vibrant neighborhoods full of music and art. And when their country was in need, they pushed for the chance to fight again. The ugly specter of fascism and racism abroad forced America to look at its own principles at home. Veterans who had risked their lives returned to grateful families and segregated communities. They continued to fight for equality as they defended America's interests overseas. By the Gulf War in 1990, American troops finally reflected American diversity. And a man who would not have been allowed in uniform 2 centuries earlier now led the entire armed forces. From the beginning, African Americans marched under a flag that stood for principles not yet fully realized. They helped steer the country's course from ignorance to inclusion. They defended a nation they embraced with all its flaws. In pursuit of our highest ideals of freedom, equality, and opportunity for all.
Black. What is black? Black is the absence of light. Black are the flames that dim the corridors of hell. Black, it's a mystery of the spectrum. Black, the sinister and uncharted. Black is the enemy. Get back, stay back, down there, out there, somewhere beyond the curtain of light. No, I disagree. Black absorbs the essence of light. Is there no splendor to behold in the brilliance of the black diamond, the black pearl? Black is beautiful. Black is the purity of substance. I'm proud to be black. I revel in my blackness. Black is beautiful? How can this be? Black is dirty. No! Black is the symbol of purity. Black is not the color of filth. Black is the horse that carries the villain. Black is his hat, his suit, his boots. Black is his heart, and even black are his deeds. Black is bad, dirty. Black is the color of filth. Black. Let me speak to you of black. I share in the entity of blackness, not exclusively with the dark pigmentation of my skin, but more importantly with the foundation of my thoughts. Black is the beginning, and black is the end. Without blackness, light would have no purpose. Black is the combination of all color as conceived on the palette of our heavenly creator. Black cannot be confined to any single meaning. Black enjoys many meanings, countless interpretations. Black can signify happiness or sorrow. The black dress of a woman attending a funeral implies her grief. The black orchid she receives denotes love, beautifully stimulating the feeling of joy. Black is the eye that you hide with tinted glass while showing off for your friends to see that big, bright, shiny new black Cadillac. So you see, black is neither good nor bad, but usually just the misinterpretation of a non-black opinion. Man is conceived in the blackness of his mother's womb, just as the earth was created in the black void of space. His brain and his heart survive only in the seclusion of darkness. So we need not fear the dark, for out of the deep dark chambers of the minds of men springs the enlightenment of knowledge. Stop! Do not tell them they must never know. They must be kept in total ignorance of themselves, lest they discover who they really are. You know, you are an agitator. An extremist. Yeah. I think you're a troublemaker. Yeah, you a nigga. Black will not stand in mindless ridicule forever. Black rises like an ebony golden sun, bright and clean, shining with its own brilliance, remaining indivisible, strong and free from the stigma of a prejudiced people and their biased definitions. Striking of a drum, heard anywhere, anytime, proclaims its origin, its black origin. Black is a spiritual being hummed softly by an old washerwoman cleaning the white folks' floor. Black is a calypso. Black is jazz. Black was Beethoven. Music originated out of the souls of black folks through the rhythms of ancient Africa. Black is the soft, quiet beauty of the most sensuous woman in the world. Black is strength and power. Black were the muscles of Samson. Black is the dominant face of Africa in Mississippi, New York, or Johannesburg. Black is a heritage and a history, the knowledge of which has been kept from black Americans. So my brothers, black is the passage not to hell, but through it to the light of knowledge, freedom, and justice.
love.